Hi there, Gary from the Horror Cut. This next episode was a live show. The venue did have some technical difficulties, so we do apologise for some sound issues. We did try and work around it, but other than that, we hope you enjoy this week's episode.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? They're here.
Welcome to the Horror Cut.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Horror Cut. I'm still Gary,
And I'm Stig, still.
and you've got a ginger hair on you
you know
from
what?
my partner. How did that happen?
So, Gary, me and Karen have actually got something to tell you. She's a paleontologist,
So this is our 5th live podcast
Yep.
coming from a new venue that I've kindly just turned down the aircon. That was really nice of them. We are at West Brewery in Glasgow, and this was our first ever attempt at a dog-friendly secret cinema. Steg, how did you think it went?
It went all right, yeah. I think it went all right. There was a few issues, but
Cutting it out.
we're here and we're trying something new with this. Do you know what? This actually, what we're doing right now, could be an idea for something in the future.
Yeah, so we're doing our first kind of round table with our audience who can chime in at any point as well. So we have just watched Lake Placid.
It has existed since prehistoric times. It was worshipped by primitive cultures. It can kill a man with one crushing bite.
We heard a man was bit in half.
Any recent bear attacks? Bears don't attack people underwater. Probably a fever then.
What was that?
Whatever's out there being shot with this is dead. Oh no. Sheriff, how many deputies you got? You came here to help you find it. We can't let him kill it.
Experience a few parts mystery
Do you have any theories why he's here? Honestly, I don't know.
and a few parts missing.
It's a human toe.
Is this the man who was killed? He seemed taller.
Oh my god.
1999 Lake Placid.
That was what the sound was making as well.
Ah,
during
that's
it. I picked this film. What I would
you-
say is we knew this was going to be a dog-friendly screening. We tried so hard to get a dog-friendly film. Or not even dog-friendly, dog-adjacent film. We tried The Howling. We tried Cujo,
Good boy.
Good Boy, and could we lock down a license? So we went for, let's just go for an animal film, and I went for Lake Placid. I'm a big fan of this film. Would you say it's a horror?
I think it's thriller.
Thriller? Okay.
Comedy thriller.
Comedy thriller. I'm going to open it up. Does anyone in the audience want to jump in on that? Is Lake Placid a horror film?
For the period, yes. There's definitely elements of horror in there. You know, your man's chopped in half, your man's head's cut off. I actually reminiscent of seeing this film when I was quite young.
So you've seen it before, yeah?
Yeah, and I don't remember all of it until tonight. But yeah, it was good to watch it again.
Just got some dogs saying their thoughts on the film there.
It was great. It is a classic 90s film.
Nice. Nice. Does anybody else want to jump in on it?
Yeah, I think honestly I would agree. It's not really a true horror. I think it's more of a thriller, and as you said, comedy. There's a hell of a lot of like comedic moments with the characters, but just not enough kills. With a horror, there needs to be some feeling of no safety whatsoever.
All bets are off. All bets are off.
It's all kind of like minor characters that kind of get totally wiped out, whereas all the major characters noted were absolutely.
Can I throw two things at you? I think something like Halloween H2O, also by the same director, Steve Miner, that's a horror film. And that's probably got just as many actual kills, and everyone who's a main character is pretty much safe in that film. And my second point is Jaws a horror film?
I think a lot of people don't want to admit it's a horror film because it's not only a great horror film, it's one of the best films ever made.
Are you talking about Lake Placid or Jaws?
Lake Placid too.
I think you're right. I would say that Jaws is a horror film, and because it feels like throughout the whole film, I mean, these two films I think do have those correlating themes, with the way things progress. Oh my God, this huge crocodile, I suppose, with Lake Placid, this huge shark. We throw everything at it, or we can't destroy it. Whereas with Jaws, there's complete hopelessness because they're in the middle of the ocean, when they're trying to defeat it. And whereas with Lake Placid, there's always the shore.
Yeah, it's just right there, isn't it?
That's true.
It's a feeling of safety with the shore. Whereas with Jaws, they have to go out. They have to go into the horrible blue infinity of the ocean, which I think for a lot of people is incredibly horrific and scary. The idea of being trapped.
Yeah, that's a big no for me.
You can't escape. Whereas with Lake Placid, you could escape because of the lake.
But the shark can go in the shore. No, sorry, the crocodile can go in the shore. I know it doesn't really happen much in the film, but I don't know. I mean, what are you more scared of, a shark or a crocodile?
Definitely a shark.
I would just run onto the beach. You can't. You're sorted. So I'm going to go. Does anyone else have anything that they want to say on it before we get right into it?
Let's have, I don't know if we asked this already. Has anyone seen the film before, or was this the first time is this the first? Oh, first time? First time?
Okay, do you guys want to say something on it?
And I think it felt more like comedy.
You get comedy horrors.
That I felt we're on a horror podcast.
I felt like I was watching Friends meets a crocodile.
So if we played Shaun of the Dead tonight, would anyone have a problem with Shaun of the Dead as a horror?
I don't think that's horror.
No, I think it is a horror because of the amount of characters you genuinely believe you're going to make it. You're going to make it. Nope. God.
Yeah. I feel like we should leave Angus and Karen to fight this one in a coma.
What about you guys? Have you guys want to?
So I didn't feel like it was that scary for horror. Like you were saying, I think maybe like the thriller, but then I think maybe the humor was a bit higher than it should have.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's great. Thank you. What about you guys?
This is my first time ever seeing this film.
Is it? All right, okay.
But I feel like I've seen it before. I've seen Jaws, and it felt very similar in the structure.
So is Jaws a horror film?
No.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, it's an adventure film. And it feels like this is what you take all your whole family could watch this for the most part.
The film opens with someone getting ripped in half, and you're going to be like, "It's okay, son, keep going."
Absolutely.
It's okay.
Absolutely. Is it worse than Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Brendan Gleeson's reaction to that guy getting fitting in half, he was just like, "Oh well, honey, I'm going to need to call this in. I've got dinner. My wife's going to be really mad." It was just like this underplayed, and you kind of look at it, it's like this is like a small town up in Maine, and it's like I don't imagine them seeing this kind of thing often. So it's just that he just kind of goes, okay.
Before we delve into it, has anyone seen Jordan Peele's Nope?
Nope.
Yeah, raise your hands if you see. Yeah. So there's a few people in the room. Jordan Peele's Nope.
That was the third. That was the
the UFO.
We went. Yeah. Okay.
We did not go see it together.
Yes, we
no, we didn't. By the way, I actually went to see that Pure Sound in the Grosvenor, remember?
Oh, yeah, we could eat it.
No. Anyway,
okay.
But long story short, the whole time watching Nope, I was like, this is Jurassic Park with aliens, right? Because it starts off, it's a little bit creepy, and then it's an adventure trying to take photos of the UFO. Don't spoil too much. And I feel like Nope is looked at as a horror film, so it's interesting that it's almost the same structure as Jaws. But you're like, Jaws is definitely not. It's a blockbuster. So it's interesting. But let's bring it back to Lake Placid. Steg, I picked this film. So in 30 seconds, I would like you to try and give the synopsis of the film for us, our listeners at home.
And for the new guys, we do this every week in the podcast. So 30 seconds to give a synopsis off the top of my head. Okay.
Go.
There is a giant crocodile loose in the state of Maine. A paleontologist named Kelly gets brought in after a body is found dismembered. A crocodile expert is also on the case. He's a bit wacky, eccentric, and we've got 4 characters who are all flawed in various ways against a big, giant fucking crocodile.
26 seconds.
Cheers,
I'll give you that. I'll give you
Cheers.
that. Yes. Okay, so usually we go around and we give our positive points of the film. I will let you go first, but everyone here just jump in if you want something to say on Stephen's point there.
Okay, positive point 1.
That's a blank page.
I don't know. My first one, I'll maybe save that for later. Let's go with the cast.
Okay. Yep.
Which I think is probably one of the most obvious things where you've got a fantastic cast. I mean, these actors, some of them probably top of the game for where they're at in their career at this time period in the late 90s. And they're doing a film. They're effectively doing a B movie.
They're doing a B movie, yeah.
And I think, I don't know if I'm trying to think of something recent that's been done.
It's not, to be honest.
It's not. It's the times have changed.
It's the 90s. Like,
it's the 90s.
You can go, here's a big ass crocodile, and put in Bridget Fonda, Bill Pullman, Olivia Platt, Brendan Gleeson, and we can't forget Betty White.
Betty White's fantastic, and it's like putting these characters together actors together, and they are just having a lot of fun with it. But let's face it, what was the quote from what's her face from Amityville?
You do one for yourself, one for the studio,
one for the heart, one for the cash or something.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. I think.
I disagree.
I think they're putting in. I don't think they're phoning it in.
I
don't think they're doing that. But I think they've all took it for their own reasons. But I think they've just had a brilliant time doing it. I think there's no pressure on them, and I think you can really see that in the performances. Where I think they're just having a really, really good time doing something a little bit different.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, because a lot of them haven't done horror before. Well, I mean, Bill Pullman done Separate in the Rainbow.
Sorry, he did Casper. Let's be honest. He did Casper. That's a horror.
That's right. I forgot all about that. I said. That's what I was trying to remember. I was watching, going, "Where else do I remember him?" And I was listing off a bunch of different films, and I was like, "You just say that Casper." So it is a really good. It's a brilliant cast, and they bring
their A game.
Yes, I think they do. Aye.
So just on this as well as there's 12 days. I can't remember which came first, but there's 12 days between this film and another B movie monster film. Can anyone think what came out around about the same time? It's not Jurassic Park.
It's not all the way. Is it Deep Blue Sea?
It is Deep Blue Sea. Sharks can't swim backwards. It's impossible. Just like the crocodiles can't be in seawater in this one. So Deep Blue Sea, Samuel Jackson, 12 days apart from this film. I think there was something in the water. Do you see what I did?
Oh, well done.
But I think, I think you get the 70s, right? And everything in the 70s is like, let's make giant insects. Let's make insects huge.
Yeah, big sci-fi
and that's
films,
like
yeah.
big B movie. And then it all kind of died in the 80s. And then horror went to like slasher stuff. And then I think it was kind of looking, what's the next big pool? And I think, yes, to David's point, it is kind of action-y, adventure, blockbuster. And at the same time, you had stuff like Dante's Peak, Volcano, Jurassic Park, Deep Blue Sea. And I think there was actually something in the water where all these A-listers were like, I want a piece of that. Probably for the money as well, but also like, it's not Oscar-winning performances and they can have a good time, like you said. But I think they all kind of play the role fantastically. Like Bridget Fonda is doing this kind of city girl, like fish out of water. Again, another pun there, if I may. She's got a thing about bugs. She's got a thing about heads, mosquitoes. She's got a thing about tents. And I think there's really an interesting character thing there, where like usually country people go to the city for the adventure, and she actually finds her adventure in like the backwater counties of Maine as well. That I think like something like Deep Blue Sea, which was like, and by the way, I'm a big fan of Deep Blue Sea as well. LL Cool J, Samuel Jackson.
I saw it in the cinema. The sound was amazing.
Actually, I didn't.
The sound actually. That's what scared me the most. I think was the sound. 'Cause it was just so loud when I saw that film.
Do you know, I wasn't allowed to go see it in the cinema. It's probably because I'm a little bit younger than you.
Sure.
But I remember, this is a spoiler for Deep Blue Sea, but I remember my mum and dad went to see it in the cinema, and like my mum came back and was like, "Oh, that was amazing." My dad came back going, "Fucking stupid sharks turning on ovens." So I was like, I need to see this film.
Hands up if you've never seen Deep Blue Sea.
What? So basically the whole room.
Wait, not done for the next film. Deep Blue Sea.
Is it a horror? But what I'd say is, all the like in Deep Blue Sea, because a lot of the characters are like scientists, they all feel very samey. Whereas I think in this, all the characters stand out. No character in this film seems the same. You've got like Bridget Fonda, who's like the fish out of water. You've got Bill Pullman, kind of playing his Independence Day role, but he's just not the president.
When does he not play that role?
Casper. But you've got Oliver Platt, who is kind of the Hooper, if you want to use the Jaws reference.
Man, totally.
He's in love with the crocodiles. You've got Hooper is in love with the sharks. And then I guess you've got Brendan Gleeson, who is kind of the humorous Quint. He's got a bone to pick with the crocodile. He wants to just blow its head off. I just think they're all great. And also, for something that is just a B movie, the dialogue is like sharp and witty.
Sharp, yeah.
See the way they bounce off of each other with the dialogue. He's like, "Why is there a museum person down here? What have you got a problem with museum people? Have you ever even been in a museum?" Like,
sharp.
It's almost. People will probably shoot me down for this, but it's almost Aaron Sorkin level of dialogue. And
see on that actually, did Minor? I don't think he wrote this, did he?
I don't think so.
Someone else, but Steve Minor, he's directed
Friday the 13th,
Part 2 and 3, Warlock, your favourite film, House.
He did House. It's terrible. It's not terrible.
Halloween H2O as well.
Halloween H2O.
So
as well.
he's kind of got, because it does feel, I hate it may be obvious, but it does kind of feel like a slasher film, but it's a crocodile. There's elements of that in there.
What, like Jaws is kind of a slasher film too?
Well, you grind me up.
No,
but it's no camp though. Slasher films.
Right, okay, sorry. Really quickly, you've got in both films, Jaws and Lake Placid, you've got your cold open where a minor character gets picked off, and everybody's like, "Oh, who did that?" So then they bring in a bunch of other people to investigate, like in Scream, where all the students investigate the crimes, and then a few other people get picked off. They go to Betty White's house to try and find out more information. Someone else gets. It's a slasher film. Jaws is the same. It's like they go to the mayor. Somebody killing people. Don't worry about it. Someone else is picked off. Or we better do. It's slasher.
I've got to take him outside and leather him. No, but you've got serious slasher films and you get more campy ones.
Yeah.
I think Minor's got experience in that, and I think he's brought that sort of element to it. But he did. I don't think he wrote it.
It's like, anybody else want to jump in just now?
I just want to say Betty White's performance with the.
It says into
Do you think it's a bit of a throwback to Eaten Alive, Toby Hooper?
Maybe, yeah.
70s, where it's like this weird old person is actually like sort of behind it in a sense.
I just think she's got some great lines as well. So it's like, do you know how your husband died? Was he swallowed? Right? And then she's like, "No, I killed him." And then dig him up if you don't believe me, Sherlock. And then there's my favourite line is, "This is where if I had a dick, I would tell you to suck it."
Oh,
and
man.
I just thought, it's so good. And Betty White is the best thing since what? Sliced bread. And I think it's no chance that she's just feeding bread at the end to the crocodiles. God, as well. Also on the animal thing, one thing I do have a problem with this film with is the cow at the end, because that is a real cow, and I feel like that cow is in peril like during filming there. I know we're a positive podcast, but also again, it's a sign of the times. I don't think it's the worst thing, but the whole idea is let's safely capture this crocodile, and to film that, we'll put a cow in peril. And I just think there's something a bit. I think it's like
putting an animal in the real world outside of the film itself to put it under stress.
Yes.
And then the crocodile's tranquilized and about to shoot. It's like, no, don't shoot it. It's a beautiful creature. It's like, yeah, but you just
dangled. Yeah.
Dangling this cow. And it was like,
there's something morally wrong. Yeah, they're taking the piss out of like the cow being in jeopardy.
And I guess it's kind of showing because like I think every character in the film really doesn't want to be there apart from Hector. He's the one who's like, I am there for this. But the rest of them are just kind of, do we need to do this? So it's kind of showing how flawed they all kind of...
No, absolutely. And I think that's another great scene that comes down to the comedy is when he's like this close. Not the listeners at home can't see what I'm doing, but he's like almost nose to nose with the crocodile. And he survives, and then he's like, it didn't eat me. And he's like, it's because it just ate a cow, stupid. I think that goes back to the lightheartedness of it. So there's a few other moments, like, I do love how, is it Helen? Is that her name? Kelly. How the affair's revealed, where, like, Kevin's like, can I speak to you in the office at the start? And it just cuts to her, like, almost hyperventilating with, like, the shock, and then the person comes in and it's like, breathe properly, breathe.
Yeah.
It's like, Kevin just dumped me. She's like, I know, it's me. And it's just a good reveal there.
I think that's why it kind of made me feel like, I was watching a Friends episode because that was revealed paleontologist, and then the guy who is also in Halloween H2O who plays
Kevin,
and he was like, I can't remember, I don't know if I wrote down the line actually, but he does say, he's like, I want you to go to me, and she said, I don't want to go, and he's like, well, and he does this like weird sort of
I'm
movement.
sending you to go.
I was like, that is Ross Geller.
Is that all you've seen there?
That's all I saw in that scene.
See, when I see paleontologist, I think of Alan Grant and
okay,
wow.
Jurassic Park.
There's a few other comedy moments, like when they arrive to check the tooth, and she's like, "That's the morgue," and Brendan Gleeson's like, "Yeah, that's where they keep the dead people," and she's just like, "All right." He's like, "Do you want me to bring the tooth out?" She's like, "No, I'll go in." Bridget Fonda also had the line, "I've never been to Maine. I've got good hygiene, so I'm not invited." So there was these kind of like digs from the city women about the country, and then she obviously at the end begins to love it as well. I think it's funny because at the end when they're in the pickup truck, and then she's like, "Can't you take the hint?" To Bill Pullman, and all he does is move his bag. And I feel like when Karen was watching that there, she's probably like, "That's as romantic as you are."
I kind of like how Andrew played the romantic pairs in this film. I feel it's not forced. It's not like there's a moment where they have to kiss in a scene or something.
Yeah.
I actually think that's a huge pro of this film. It builds and builds and builds, but it's not like we have to kiss at this point. It's 3/4 of the way through the film. We have to have a confirmation.
Yeah, there has to be that point usually in films where like the main protagonist, if it's a male, and the female protagonist fall on each other out the danger, like they fall on top of each other, and there's that moment where, are we going to kiss here or not? And it doesn't do any of that as well. Talking about love-hate relationships.
Why are you looking at me?
It's a love-hate relationship here. Hector and Hank.
Oh, brilliant, man.
I think that's they sell
They
this
too
whole
sell
film. Just the way he arrives and he sees Hector arrives and he sees all the other people there, he's like, balls, you beat me. And then he's talking about he's talking about the lake and the conditions, but he throws his name out as Hector.
Yeah.
And then later on Hank's like, who's this guy? He's like, Hector, let me know when it sinks in. And then there's obviously him falling into all the traps, but then together at the end they work together basically.
Yeah, and it's great to see two actors of that caliber like just rhyming off each other in this film. That's like I'm not saying they're out their comfort zone. They're not. They handle it really, really well. But it's just great to watch two fantastic actors, beat each other's throats.
Yeah,
for the entire film.
When Hector says he has a dream where his head is cut off and he's walking about his living room and his mum is getting annoyed because he might break the ornaments, and then he sees his head outside and all the local boys are like using it as a football and he just feels glad to be involved. What do you think that's about? Because that really stands out as so random in the rest of the film.
Let me think. No,
Does anybody else want to jump in? Well, Stephen has a good think here.
Well, coming in from Ghana, Faye's got some comments here. She thought the gore in the film was really good. So
It's okay, we'll come back to that. Does anybody else have anything on the headless dream at the moment?
I don't know if I'm trying to remember the point of the film where it was in to try and get a bit more context around it.
It's
so
basically him and Brendan
It's him and-
Gleeson having a
yeah.
quiet moment, and he talks about this. It's after the head's been chucked at them, and they're having this quiet, tender moment together.
Mhm.
And then Brendan Gleeson, Hank walks away and gets stuck in the trap, which de-escalates this.
It's before that. Is that that?
It's right. It's at the
it's
tree.
right at that. Okay.
It's right at the tree.
if I can chime in,
Yeah.
it does feel a little bit coincidental because it happens just after the deputy's obviously got his head completely eaten off, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like the character, Hector, sorry. He almost sort of has this improvisational character. Whenever he interacts with a character, he just comes out with these sort of like mad libs of like, I think this, I think that, you're fat. Like, just says it.
I mean, it's a great bit where he's like, you know, like people close to you were too afraid to say it, so I'm just going to come out and say it to make you feel better, but you're fat. And it's so random, but
I feel like he kind of makes up this dream to almost bring some humor into the situation, which is kind of, you know, it's badly placed, obviously, in terms of how I feel like the whole dream aspect of him, like, oh, I was headless, and then my kids, I feel like he's just kind of improvising it, just kind of coming up with something that's like, maybe this will make him feel better.
That's interesting because my perception of it, whether he's making it up or not, I think Hector has never fitted into a group, and that's his way of saying that. So he says, like, you know, these people in my dream are just kicking my head about playing football, and I was just so glad to be involved. And that's how he feels in this moment. I think, you know, there's murder, there's mayhem, and he's just like, I'm so glad I'm around you guys. I'm loving this. And even Bridget Fonda's character as well is like, she's excited by it all. Like, and it goes back to that idea is like, yeah, she's the city girl where all the mayhem should be, and she's come out here, and this is the first time she's had like some sort of thrill in her life, and she's absolutely loving it. And I think Olivia Platt's character's the same. He's like, but that's his way of saying that.
Is that after the sort of attack of the guy getting his head bitten off? Is that maybe like his way of, like what you're saying, it's after that, it's like I'm a little bit scared here, so I need to like try and bond a little bit. I need to try and,
yeah, I think so,
just so that I'm protected in some way.
I think it is. I think he's insecure, and this is his way of getting into it. But it's just, it is weird that he uses the head because there's so many heads in this film.
Yeah, there's a lot of heads actually.
A lot of heads
there's
thrown
a lot of
about
heads
in
thrown
this
about.
as well.
Yeah. Can I ask, Donata, you made a point earlier on when we were standing talking.
Oh yeah, it was kind of like refreshing because obviously a horror that focus on animals for once, and this sorts of like hierarchy between species, you know, for once, these questions and, oh, are we going to kill him or we're going to sedate him?
A lot of people has, obviously tonight and in general, compared this to Jaws. To me, just me, right? This is the best monster movie to Jaws. I know Godzilla's out there and stuff, but Godzilla's not a real animal. But like, so thinking of real animal horror, action-y adventure movies, I think this is my number 2 to Jaws.
Is it? Okay, nice.
But to go back to your point, Jaws, they just shoot the shark and that's it. They don't think about where it is in like the system of nature. Whereas in this, they do question that, and obviously then they play on it. It's like they trap one, another one comes out the water, and they blow his head off. It's like back to one. So they kind of underplay it, but I think there's something to be said where like humans might be the top of the food chain, or they think, but it doesn't mean we go around killing other animals that are a danger to us.
Yeah, because this thing's older than us as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at it as well, so this kind of tug on that sort of empathy and go in terms of what Donata said about the sort of hierarchy of stuff. It's like, kind of, what right do we have? But I think one of the guys, I don't know if it was Pullman that did say it, he was kind of like, well, this thing's now killed a human, so it kind of makes it our problem now. In terms of what do we want to do about it?
But to play the opposite on that with Hector, it's like he looks at them as gods, and they have been around since like the dinosaurs, so is sharks as well. So there is this idea of like they've been around for so long, should we just destroy them because we become part of that ecosystem and then
Yeah.
they bite us, so we just kill them? That's something to be kind of said.
Because that's what it does. I think one of them does say that. It's like they think of the ecological sort of impact this has. It's something we need to really, really consider.
This has ended up in lakes that it shouldn't be in and stuff like that, and maybe you should see where that progresses. I know it's a comedy B movie, but I think for me with this film, I think this film gets a bad rep because it did so well at the box office that they made Lake Placid 2, 3, Lake Placid versus Anaconda, Lake Placid Legacy. So you think about it like the whole franchise. It's the same sort of thing that's wrong with Saw. Like, Saw is just a standalone film, is really fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's really solid.
Yeah, such a great self-contained horror movie. But when you think of Saw, you think of like the horror pop of it all. Like, let's see in how many ways we can chop people up and see how long an audience stands with it. Whereas even with the other Lake Placids, it's like, how many wacky deaths can we do?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas actually, there isn't so many deaths in this, but it's actually it's got a beginning, middle, and end, and I think it works really
definitely
well.
does. Yeah, I can't even think of the second, third, and fourth. I can't even think what they're called. I didn't know there was a second, third, and fourth until last night.
I have seen Lake Placid versus Anaconda. The title doesn't even make sense. A lake versus a snake. It doesn't actually make sense. It's not great, man. It's not great. Yvonne, I'm going to throw it to you. So you'd seen this film. You had also guessed this was the film tonight, so you must know this film quite well. What do you think of it?
I loved it. Like, I actually begged my dad to rent this for me at Global Video when it was out.
For those who are too young, Global Video was a rental store, and for those in America, it's our Blockbuster.
Yeah. So this is actually one of the second time I've seen it.
Oh, really?
I've not seen it since then,
Uh-huh.
but when you put the clothes up, I knew straight away.
How was it seeing it for a second time?
I loved it. I actually go back to what Stephen said. Like, I actually forgot how good the cast was.
Mm.
But I don't think it's a horror film. I think
All right,
that's fair.
Because they have that feel about them, don't they? There's just something about them, but it's like, are they? I mean, is Dante's Peak a B movie? Probably.
Yeah, but I'm not saying it's a horror film.
No.
either.
But what I'm saying is, like, the B movies is, I think it's just as time progresses, technology progresses, everything. It's like, what was a B movie? You know, how do I say this? What was a B movie in the 70s compared to what a B movie is like now? It's like kind of chalk and cheese.
We've became what's the word? We've became desensitized.
Desensitized
Thank
to it,
you.
yeah.
Yes, desensitized to it. What I would say as well, if you don't mind sharing this with us, Yvonne, I wasn't old enough to see this in the cinema. No, this is a good point, right? I wasn't old enough to see this in the cinema. Did you see it in the cinema?
no, I didn't.
Were you?
The first time I seen it was with my dad.
So what age were you roughly? And this isn't an age, right? What did you say?
12?
12, right? Okay, so I must have been about 4. No, I'm joking. I must have been about 11, 12 as well. And I actually think this film does the same as maybe what Arachnophobia did, right? It's a gateway horror. You know, like, people are scared of spiders and watch that. It's a family film, but it's quite horrific. So Rob just said that is a horror. But it's almost like a nice gateway horror for children, or like people that it's like, 11, 12, and then maybe you find your feet in horror later.
Really, my dad didn't want to rent it for me. Like, he was not happy.
Yeah. And did your dad enjoy this film?
Yeah, I think so. I can't really remember.
It's funny you said there about like being like gateway horror. Because I guess 25 years ago when this film came out, you would still probably get children watching this, 8 or 9 year olds. And that's, 70s and 80s and 90s, that's what you got. I watched my first horror film when I was 4 or 5, and it fucked me up. Let me tell you, it did. But I don't think that happens now. I think kids are pretty sheltered in terms of horror films. I grew up watching Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and all those. I watched The Fly when I was a kid, really, really young, and that just became a sort of a staple of my life. But now I don't think parents allow their children to watch these really, really phenomenal horror films. I don't think it's part of the culture anymore.
I disagree.
Do you?
I think that young people do find ways to watch horrific content, but I think it's mostly happening on things like TikTok and Instagram. You've got a lot of content creators that are creating from influences like Nightmare on Elm Street, these sort of nightmarish, a lot of the A-time AI created monsters that, I know it's horrific. But it's a lot of it is these kind of like minute-long reels where they're waiting for the jump scare, for almost the horrific monster to kind of, and I've seen them, these kind of horrific monsters to kind of pop into your screen while you're watching it in bed. And don't get me wrong, it's not nearly as good as obviously watching something like Friday the 13th or something, or, Saw, for instance, which is, once again, fantastic film. But it's certainly giving the same sort of adrenaline rush, but in a sort of more compact sort of style of content, where it's someone you follow, and occasionally when you flip it, it's like, oh, here comes the horror reel. And it's I mean, don't get me wrong, completely different to watching a full feature film, but it's still, I still watch them sometimes. I'm like, oh God. I mean, it's very cheap as well. I will say it's quite cheap, but it's still horrific. It can be sometimes.
Right.
I think kids are still managing to watch these because they can just follow it on their phone.
So they're still kind of going
Parents are not
to,
there.
is it like the equivalent of like when we were younger, like under the bed and like reading a comic? It was quite scary. Is it the same?
Or you were kind of like keeping the film low on the VHS,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like, it's just like, I hope it's not too loud, so my parents will come. It's, what are you watching? Oh my goodness, what are you watching? I don't want you to be kind of like, scarred in this way. But, for me personally, my first horror experience was Half-Life on PC. I would go round to my friend's house, play it, and my parents like, what were you playing? And they heard about this game. It's like, it's horrible, it's gore and everything. But kids always find a way. They always do. I think horror with kids, they love the sensation.
That's good to know. Who's the youngest here? Just out of curiosity.
Do you look like you could be the youngest?
He does bring them back.
Yeah. This would be a good, actually, like just to kind of maybe tell us your sort of experience of like, how old are you?
19.
19. Okay. How did you like get into watching horror? What's your name? Sorry.
I'm Roslyn.
Roslyn. Hi, Roslyn.
Hi. I used to hate it. Like, I used to have like a proper aversion to like anything scary. I used to really hate it, but it was actually social media and stuff that kind of got me into it. So it's like there's a lot of TikTok pages where they like rank stuff. They like rank horror films.
Okay.
Yeah. And I used to be
like
on
Watch
them.
Mojo, that type of stuff. Am I from that age?
Sort of, yeah. No, but sort of. So it's TikTok's kind of like, it's shorter form content. So it would just pop up on my For You page. It'd be like ranking the Scream franchise or ranking Final Destination or whatever. And that would be when I would kind of be like, oh, well, maybe I would want to go and watch some of these. And I did. And now that's kind of was my gateway into it. Yeah. Was social media and stuff. So yeah.
How old were you when you sort of watched your first horror film?
I think it was probably COVID. Okay. So probably 14, 15 maybe. But I started with like screaming stuff, which is obviously it's not totally completely gory.
Yeah.
It's not totally like horrific. It's still like that blend of like slasher and comedy and stuff.
Yeah, I think I probably watched Screaming about the same age as you, and I found it quite scary when I was that age. Definitely, I was like,
pretty intense.
Yeah, I found it quite at that age. Watching it, I was quite affected by it. Yeah.
I watched A Nightmare on Elm Street when I was like 8, so I'm probably just messed up. Just to quickly bring it back, what did you think of Lake Placid then as a film and also as a quotations horror movie?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's again, like, I have seen Jaws. It did remind me a lot of Jaws, but I've not really seen a lot of like the kind of monster kind of films. It was definitely a lot of fun. I did quite like it a lot. I don't know where I stand on it being a horror film, because there's definitely parts that I would consider like that's a horror film. Like there's definitely things in there, like obviously the opening scene where I'm like, that's like, you wouldn't let kids watch that. Something like that I would consider that to be part of a horror film. I'd consider it a blend between like horror and comedy. and stuff. Yeah.
Like, would you watch a sequel to it? Not knowing anything, would you?
Well, I actually I went online after watching it and I googled the sequels.
Okay.
And what I like to do with the sequels is whenever there's a franchise, I like to look at what the lowest rated sequel is, which is in this case is the Lake Placid versus Anaconda.
Yeah.
So that does kind of make me want to go and watch it because
Yeah.
sometimes I like to watch the lower rated stuff.
Can't beat Sharknado.
I'm just getting an image of a snake hitting a lake at water, just fighting it.
Maybe we should also team up with Trash Cinema and do a Lake Placid versus Anaconda. I think they'd be up for that as well.
Okay.
No, that sounds good. I just kind of want to bring it back to some positive points. We've kind of went totally off of notes, which is absolutely fine. I would say also this film still holds up. It still kind of stands the test of time. Like, a lot of 90s CGI usually looks awful. I don't think there's too much in this film. There's a little bits where it's like the full crocodile, like head to toe. You're like, it looks a bit ropey, but the part that you mentioned where it's like the person's ripped in two at the start, the head's getting tossed about. Even the scene, it always stands out for me. That's why we made it one of the hints, is when the bear's there and the shark the crocodile comes out of the water and takes it away. I remember being blown away by that when I was a kid. So I think that, plus like what we kind of spoke about, the dialogue, the characters. I mean, yes, maybe tonight we've realised that it's not an all-out horror film, but I think there was a lot of enjoyment in the room
There's still a lot of
watching it.
enjoyment, absolutely, yeah.
I had a lot of laughs. A lot of people were like, oh, at certain parts, and that's kind of. I mean, when I first started studying film, my lecturer told me there's two things for a film: it has to entertain and it has to make money. And I think this still
Has the music.
It has the music, yeah.
In all honesty, like, in your defense, I think, music plays a big part in any horror or in any film, right? So I do agree with you. Probably we would feel more immersed and therefore feel a little bit that kind of like suspension a little bit more if the music was slightly different.
I also feel the cinematography was very strong.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It was
Pretty
well
strong,
shot. Obviously, the actors are amazing. But yeah, it looked good. It was a great location. Everyone did a really good job. But it looked like a good shot film.
I think it's because it's a $35 million.
35 million?
35 million. Which, that's like a B movie, isn't it? Is that a B movie?
No, I think that's higher end.
Yeah.
So it's maybe shot higher end, but the content's maybe B movie-ish.
Yeah, totally.
It was refreshing to see like a lot more helicopter shots rather than drone shots. I feel like talking about desensitization. I feel like now that watching a lot of sort of newer films, I'm so desensitized to like a lot of drone shots. Whereas at least with like helicopter shots, there's more tilt and pan and stuff like that. You could do
shaky as well.
Yeah, but I don't know. It gives it's almost like sort of vinyl in a way. It kind of gives this kind of filter to it. It gives it, but also you can tell that a human being has like had to. Be the one to pilot that shot, and it I don't know. It makes it more warm to like watch as you're like cutting across that lake, going across those mountains. Whereas with a drone shot, sometimes it does feel super, super balanced and just flat and boring.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I think this would be a great point to just go round the room and everybody give their positive and negatives on the film. Let's start at this side then. We can work round.
Positive would be the cast. I loved it. I don't really have a negative, to be honest, because I just enjoyed it. So
that's what I like to hear.
Positive, I think, would be the comedy moments, even though maybe in a horror that's not necessarily what you want, but it still made the film enjoyable. Negatives, I think the sort of CGI type stuff with the full animal was a bit ropey, as you said.
Over 25 years old.
Positive, I didn't shot myself. I'm quite happy. I cannot find a negative.
Positive would be the, as you say again, the sort of overall gelling and relationship between the cast in general. It's very, very, friendly and very, very fun to watch. You didn't want any of them to get hurt. Negative, I would say Brendan Gleeson's American accent. I felt he just gave up halfway through. He started out well. It was but eventually it was just like, I'm Brendan Gleeson again. It's in Bruges. And it's like, I think he got to that point.
Maybe, just maybe, just hear me out. Maybe his character put on an American accent to fit into Maine, and then with everything going on, the character went, just come back to my English.
I'm actually
next
Irish.
to Massachusetts, Boston, a lot of Irish immigrants. It's
know-
kind of in that maybe. Oh, okay. Good thinking now.
I think seeing Brendan Gleeson clean shaven, beautiful.
That was Brendan Gleeson. It's got
And I think, Bill Pullman actually not getting pulled. That was good.
Positives, the characters were great. I thought all the characters really well defined. I understood who these people were very fast, and I enjoyed watching them all interact with each other. Negatives, I feel like I've seen this film many times before, but it's enjoyable. Right?
When you say you've seen it many times before, is that because the film is now so old? Did it do it first?
I'm a 90s kid as well, right? So, and as I said, I haven't seen this film until today, but I feel like I've seen this film before today.
Okay. Nice deflection there. You didn't actually answer it.
Positives. I just thought it was very enjoyable. I feel like a lot of movies just don't lean into fun anymore. I just thought that was a lot of fun, which I really enjoyed. And then negatives, same thing about like the kind of CGI of the animal. It's obviously looking back, it's a little bit ropey, but I'm sure it was very high tech at the time.
Wait till you see Lake Placid 2 to the CGI goes downhill.
It was Stan Winston that done the creature effects, isn't it?
Practical though.
Practical.
We should say as well, Stan Winston did stuff like Predator, Aliens. Did he work on Gremlins? I think a little bit, maybe.
Oh, I can't remember.
Well,
I couldn't tell you.
Since it's coming to Christmas. Yep.
Yeah, terrific ensemble piece. Terrific fun relationships, between all the characters that were really well defined, funny, sharp, witty dialogue. Something a wee bit, or a negative side, something a wee bit sort of confusing about the horror elements. I do think it's a horror film, but maybe just slightly poorly handled in ways you can't imagine Ripley wanting to save the alien in Alien.
Yeah.
You can't imagine in Jaws them wanting to save the shark.
Fair, yeah.
And that kind of slightly takes the edge off the horror for me.
Okay, can I throw a second opinion on that though? I think it's a really good point. As Ripley, as in, like, she's not there to study the animals, whereas two of the characters are there to study animals. So maybe that makes the idea of wanting to save them. Again, it's just that's up for debate. But like, if you were there to study a monkey and it tried to rip your face off, would you turn around and go shoot that?
I should it, aye.
Yeah.
But I think in a true horror, at some point you would really want to shoot the
probably. Yeah.
But still great fun.
Nice. Thank you. Do you just want to say? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I don't think I've seen this kind of genre before as much, especially not from like the 90s. So it was interesting to like dive back into, like you were saying, different shots and appreciate it, because it's not like how it's made nowadays. So that was kind of nice. And positive as well, I guess, was that some of the dialogue, like if I had it, I would take a second. I like some of the comedy parts, and then I guess negative, maybe the cow part, like when they're like distressing the cow. And then I think I didn't fully, because like at one point they're like, oh, don't shoot it, look at him. But then, same, like no empathy for the cow kind of thing. So, and also as a viewer, I guess I didn't really feel as connected to the crocodile in that way. So I was like, But other than that, really good film, too entertaining to watch.
Nice.
Positives, Betty White.
Yes.
And negative, waterboarding a cow.
Waterboarding a cow, yeah. I mean, yep. And Betty White really cares for the animals as well. So, give that a round of applause. Stephen, it brings us close to the end. What would you rate Lake Placid out of 5? And before you say it, I'm asking you what you'd rate it out of 5 as a film, not horror film.
As a film?
Yeah, as a film.
I'd go with 3.5 Betty Whites.
3.5 Betty Whites. Okay. I am going to go. I'm sorry, man. I'm a sucker for this film. I loved it the first time I got it out of Global Video. Anytime I've put it on, I have not been disappointed. Other than Tonight in the Bad Sound.
Okay.
I would give it a solid 4 out of 5.
Oh,
man.
that's-
I would 4 out of 5 heads.
That's what we did with House of 1,000 Corpses. Is we did the same thing. It's like I love that film, even though it's got loads of fault. Every time I watch House of 1,000 Corpses for Rob Zombie, I'm just like, this
Give me a
film's a 4.5.
Yeah.
You know, so it's interesting how all films mean different things to different people.
And there's a nostalgia element to certain films
totally,
and
aye,
things as well.
totally.
Okay, that brings us to the end. I'm going to put Steg on the spot right now. What is your creative recommendation? Has to be horror.
Of course it
Steg
does.
always forgets to do this part.
I always forget, but not this time, not this week, Gary boy. I have remembered. I've actually wrote it down this time.
Oh, nice.
The only reason I wrote it down is because I can't pronounce the surnames, or I can't remember the surnames off by heart. But I don't know if you've seen it, I watched You Should Have Left recently,
Okay.
a horror film with Kevin Bacon, but it's actually based upon a book. Same title, You Should Have Left, by Daniel Kelman, which actually reminded me of a book by Mark Danielewski called The House of Leaves. Anyone ever read or seen any of them?
Is this the one where he finds a room?
Yeah, it plays a bit with geometry and things like that. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure he measures a wall and he's like, this is bigger on the outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
He says there's some kind of strange going ons, and he ends up measuring the room that he's in, and he goes outside and he notices that the inside of the room is larger than the outside, which obviously is impossible. And that was the kind of pull.
Yeah.
So when I saw that trailer a few years ago, I was like, they're remaking House of Leaves. Oh, no, sorry, they're actually adapting House of Leaves by Mark Danielewski. But I listened to the audiobook the other day after watching the film. It was quite effective. So you've got 4 recommendations there.
Oh, nice.
So that covers me for the next 4 weeks.
Anyone else got any horror recommendations before we wrap it up?
I would recommend Hush. I think that's a fantastic film.
Yep.
I'm personally a sound mixer and a sound designer. I think that brings a whole brilliant sort of element between visual and sound as kind of being this place of safety. To give a general synopsis, it's a writer that essentially is in their sort of country cabin, but they are deaf, and essentially there is a mysterious person in the woods that enters the house, and the sort of balance between sound and visual is fantastic.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend it.
I would like to recommend Frankenstein, which recently came out, but also House of Dynamite, which was a brilliant shot from different perspectives of dialogue. Yep, I'll leave that. David?
Yeah.
Don't take the microphone off of Rob when he gives you it.
When he prompts you, yes.
House Dynamite is not a horror film either, to be fair.
Okay, we'll leave it there. My creative recommendation is the Echo Collective, which is I'm going to leave this in, but Stephen is looking really confused as I say that. It is an agency that is just signed the Horror Cup podcast. Books. So if you're a fan of horror, check out the Echo Collective on Instagram. They have lots of horror obsessed people. So they've got like people that go to HorrorCon. They've got people that review other horror films. Just it's a whole horror mismatch. So if you like horror, check out the Echo Collective. That brings us to the end of the show. We hope you've enjoyed Lake Placid. Thank you to our live audience as well who has chipped in. Our next podcast should be our live podcast at Christmas time. In between Christmas and New Year, we're going to be back in the old hairdressers. Karen is really annoyed because I've double booked myself that day. But we'll be there. Old hairdressers, I think it's going to be Sunday the 28th of December. So if you're looking for something to do between Christmas and New Year, come along to the old hairdressers. Doors will open about 6:30 and the film will start at 7. Steg, anything else to add?
No, I just want to say thank you, guys, for tonight. I know it's been a change of venue and we've had some issues, but thanks for coming along. Really appreciate it. And thanks for taking part in this sort of little change of format. I thought, it's just maybe something different. It's been a kind of semi-challenging night, so I'm quite glad that we've managed to round it off like
And
we've done.
it's
It's been quite nice.
Yeah.
Quite intimate.
Yes.
So yeah.
So you can follow the podcast at The Horror Cut Show on Instagram, or you can join the Facebook group at The Horror Cut Show on Facebook. Join us next time where we will be discussing either Blade or Resident Evil, because we've already wrote up the notes on that.
Or Idle Hands.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
We're friends to the end, remember?
This is the end, friend.